What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Angels Franchise, where in this episode, we're going to go over our first ever award winner in this franchise, as well as getting into the end of year two and the postseason, seeing who wins year two's World Series, and we will get into the offseason in this episode. I hope you guys are super excited. While last episode we focused on the minor leagues, our number one farm system in all of MLB, and those prospects that are making that happen. This episode, I want to focus on the end of year two and playoff races as well as award races, stats around the league, stats for our team, stuff like that, standings, get everything together that way so we can get caught up on what's been going on, as well as getting into the postseason and seeing who wins the World Series championship, because it will not be the Angels. Hopefully we can start getting contention now that money's getting freed up and we've had a couple of drafts under our belt. We'll have to see. I want to start by noting some really interesting players here at the major leagues that we really got to look at. After trading Taylor Ward and Jorge Soler, which we'll check on them too, and check on Mike Trout, check on Tavares, a couple players in this franchise so far that we've been interested in following, as well as other stuff too. But really, on our team in the majors, it's Ryan Noda, who's 29, getting better. I mean, he's 29, yeah, but it doesn't matter. We have team control for 3 more years. We also know he's a B potential, so he still can get better. Room to grow. Joe Adell has 1 more year left on his deal after this year. He might want a lot more money, too, because he's played way better this year. We'll see. But we're going to see what he's going to do, what he's going to want. 21 home runs, 25 doubles, 7 triples. I mean, he's really playing well. So we're gonna have to see what he wants, and maybe we extend him, maybe we trade him. We'll have to see. Luis Rengifo, like I said, there wasn't any starting All-Stars, but he's actually been a reserve All-Star the last 2 years after we extended him, and that's awesome to see. He's been one of our best players for sure. Finally, at least a couple players that we can say have been consistent. Nolan Shonowell and players below him have been so underwhelming, and to say the least. They've been terrible, really. And we need better from players that are young like this. 24, Zach Neto's 25, Logan O'Hoppy's 26. We just need better production if they're going to stick around and be core pieces. But also, we know we sent Logan O'Hoppy down. We sent Zach Neto down. They haven't been playing well recently. Logan O'Hoppy still has. He's got an 23 OPS right now, in his last 10. So still good on that part. Hopefully, like I said, we're not going to look at the numbers as a whole because they had such a bad season. We can only look at what they've been doing lately and hopefully have some momentum in the next season, which is really what matters. And everyone else, we're not really too worried about. They're not going to play a big role. Tucker Flint has 1 debut, and that's it. We'll see what he can do throughout this month after having a pretty good AAA performance, and we called him up to see what he could do. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to go through some other stats as well, and we're going to see what's going to happen around the league, going into some award races as well as the playoff races. So I wanted to get into the standings a little bit, see what's going on around the league, see how things are going. We have the Orioles winning the East right now. The Rays are in second place, 4.5 games out. The Yankees and Red Sox aren't really that good, 2 games above 500. Not good enough right now to be in contention for the East. And if you go to the Central, the Tigers are 9.5 games above the Guardians, playing amazing baseball with Vladdy. That's crazy. That was such an insane pickup. The White Sox are pretty terrible, and so are the Royals. That doesn't really make sense to me. I'm not exactly sure why that keeps happening in these 2 seasons so far. The Royals are just bad. But okay, maybe they don't have pitching. I don't know. It's pretty interesting, to say the least. The Rangers, after trading for Taylor Ward, have taken the lead on the division, 1.5 games up on the Astros. This division looks totally winnable, by the way, for us next year. I mean, if it's going to be this wide open, 100% we can win this. I'm super excited for next season, year 3. So we got the Guardians playing in the wild card and the Rays. The Twins are right there. That's interesting. The Astros are. So, yeah, we could be right there. And the Yankees are only 3.5 out. And so are the Red Sox. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. In the NL, the Mets are back to form. The Phillies are right behind them, though. Could win the division still. There's still some weeks to play in September. The Pirates being good are the most interesting thing to me. And they're 5 games up on the Brewers and Mike Trout, which is kind of sad. Because if you see, the Brewers are literally ranked 2nd in MLB, and they're just not playing like it. So the Dodgers are winning the West, surprise, surprise, with like they're the best team in the league. And they have Kyle Tucker now. Somehow can pay for Kyle Tucker for 10 years. The Padres are 8 games back. The Diamondbacks with Soler are, not playing that well. So they're playing okay, but the NL is really good. So especially the NL West. So they're not even close to making the postseason. They're 7.5 games back of the wild card right now. The Phillies are leading the wild card, and you got the Padres. With the Brewers are still in the playoffs. Really fun to see. They're 4.5 games up with the Braves. So hopefully Mike Trout will be seeing some playoff baseball regardless. And that's fun to see. And that's the standings so far right now. And if you want to look at the worst teams in baseball, it's the Nationals. And you got the White Sox. So the Nationals make that trade to give James Wood back for whatever reason. Trades in this game make no sense sometimes. And now they're the worst team in baseball. Go figure. We're going to hop into a game with Luis Rengifo, who's been a 2-time All-Star in this series, and he's looking for his first ever Silver Slugger. I hope he can win it. I think he's the best second baseman in the AL. Okay, so one of the only interesting storylines going into the offseason, finishing up year 2, is that Luis Rengifo, that contract is looking good. 2-time All-Star, and also trying to win a Silver Slugger at second base. It's pretty interesting to see Ryan Noda also just playing well. He's 29, but who cares? He's playing well and has room to grow with beat potential. So, we'll see. Marcel Meyer debuted and went hitless. Tucker Flint also struggled, if you've seen last episode, and struck out in his debut and was not good. So we'll have to see if he can bounce back in this episode. We're going to go player lock with Rengifo only, so we'll see in Sim how he does. And the Rangers take that 2-game. And hey, the Brewers are moving in. You never know. They're still right there. They can still win their division, and they're probably going to make the playoffs, so that's fun. And Aaron Judge probably is going to win that MVP. Corey Seager with 800 RBIs. Jock Peterson is still playing baseball at a pretty high level. And our farm system, number 1 in MLB, as you can see. And they're just disgusting. Ray Frost, disgusting. Through 88 innings pitched through 2 levels of minor league baseball. -2 ERA. Insane. Let's see if Rengifo's got something brewing right now where he might be one of the core pieces of this team going forward. He might get another extension if he's going to play like this. We're going to have to really see what he's made of. We kind of know what he's made of. He's played for a long time. And if we could spoil the Astros, who are 2 games back of a wild card spot right now, we can spoil that for them. I would love that, as that's crushed. That's gone. Luis Rengifo gaps one, and that's a homer. We love to see it. What do we need? We need slugging for him to win the Silver Slugger, and he hits one out immediately. Really fun to see. They ain't catching that one. That's a homer. Crushed. All right, we didn't know he had that in him. We knew he was pretty good contact-wise, but I didn't know he had that in him. Come on, let me see it, O'Hoppy. He's got no arm. Noodle arm there behind the dish. Not good, I get it. But you get excited when you hit a homer on the road. You're thinking, hey, maybe we make something happen here. Well, we know Kikuchi is as old as dust. Come on, Zach! Zach Neto, I hate him. Wow. Zach Neto might be a criminal, bro. What is that? Yo, if y'all have siblings, younger siblings, I guarantee you if you put them at shortstop, they'd probably field that. Guaranteed. Your little brother in kindergarten playing T-ball, he probably feels that when Zach Neto is getting paid millions of dollars to field that ball for us, and he can't, and we lose games because of that. We cannot have core players of our rebuild being those type of players that can't play. And I was talking about his glove, actually. You know, it's so crazy. I was talking about his glove when we were playing with him and we were playing bad. I was like, he's still got a good glove, and he still can run the bases. Well, he can run the bases for sure, but the glove ain't there either. And, yeah, he might not be... Oh, my gosh. That's 2 homers for Luis Rengifo in this game. He could really win the Silver Slugger now. Holy hell. He crushed that. They ain't catching that one. That is a home run. Luis Rengifo, that's 2. Yeah, Zach Neto. Show him, right? Yeah, show Zach Neto for me on the broadcast because he's doing a lot right now. Show him in the dugout, please. I'm really despising Zach Neto. What a moonshot. Holy hell, 442 into the second deck. Oh, man, he's a demon, isn't he? We got demons on this team, dude, not angels. That's the funny part, is calling everyone a demon when we're the Angels. Wow. Yikes. Was I late to that interaction there? To second? I don't know. I don't think so. But it doesn't matter if you're homering twice and 2, that's out. He's out. Hey, maybe apply the tag, Luis. Or actually, you know what? We're going to blame it on Logan Hoppy. All right, it's 9-4. Pitching's terrible. So what's going to happen now is we need Rengifo to potentially hit another home run. That would be crazy. He has the second most RBIs on the Angels this year. He's a 2-time All-Star with us in this rebuild in 25 and 26, the last 2 years. It's not even a bad hit ball, honestly. He's out, but he's already got 2 homers. I'll talk about it all day. He's got 2 freaking homers. This guy's a beast, okay? They really like running these Houston Astros, and I understand why. Because Logan O'Hoppe is like, it's free. It's actually free. No way they're running again on this guy. Dude. It's free. It's free. Bro, I can't wait to see. Bro, it's 15-4. I haven't even seen the score. I haven't looked. I just peeped the score. And oh my gosh, this is kind of like, this is one of those games where it's like, okay, we're in a rebuild, so I'm not that sad about it. But why are we losing 15-4? Okay, they're just going to show us homers, and we're going to watch them because that's all we have. Whoo! He knows how to crush a baseball. That's for sure. Silver Slugger, potentially. 2 from the left side today as a switch hitter. Can he get 1 from the right into the Crawford boxes? Would love it. 3 homer game in a loss? Nah, it's not going to happen. But he's got 99 contact to lefties, so. All right, let's watch a Zach Neto AB. We'd love to see it because we know what's going to happen. We watched him strike out as the last out before in one of these episodes, so who would have thought a weak pop-up behind home plate to end the game? Zach Neto. Zach Neto might be traded next year. We have 3 years of team control. I swear to God, I can't stand watching him play baseball anymore. Same with Logan O'Hoppe. I mean, he got ran on how many times? We're about to check, by the way. We're about to check. We can only watch those homers so many times. We're about to check how many times this guy got ran on today. Wow. 4 stolen bases today and no caught stealings. 3 errors. I mean, dude, this team's got to go. I mean, Rendon gets his first homer of the season. Zach Neto still has 30 doubles. I mean, I don't know what to think. Rengifo goes yard twice. Yeah, Kikuchi went 1 2/3. Like, the pitching's terrible, so I get it. But still, something has to change here. We're going to look to bring players up into year 3 and free agency. Something's got to change. We can't lose. We cannot lose that game 16-5 final score. Can't happen. Can't happen, dude. Look at all the homers, all the extra base hits, all the RBIs. They did whatever they wanted. After Rengifo went yard, but we lost 16-5 in Houston. We lose against Baltimore in a series. We win a series against Chicago, and then we win another series against Baltimore, where players are doing pretty well, like Rengifo, O'Hoppe, even Zach Neto homers in this game against Baltimore to take the series. So that's fun, but what's more interesting is we only have 1 week left in the season, and we're going to look back at some of the awards and playoff races to see where they're ending up now. As you can see, Aaron Judge is now lapped by Yordan Alvarez and Corey Seager for the MVP. Kyle Tucker is still holding on to that. Maybe the batting title as well, but he's holding on to the MVP and trying to keep it in LA. He might actually hold on to the Triple Crown as well. And there we go. Logan Webb's finally taking his rightful spot as the Cy Young winner, hopefully. Vladdy Guerrero is still going to win, and Seiya Suzuki is actually might take the batting title, so the Triple Crown might be out of reach for Kyle Tucker. We'll have to see. And a lot of these are staying the same, like Matt Shaw is just going to be gifted a Rookie of the Year for no reason. Doesn't really make sense. A lot of the Gold Gloves and everything usually stay the same for the most part. I don't really see them change late in the season. But if they do or I notice anything, I'll mention it. But the biggest one is look at Luis Rengifo after the 2-homer game and subsequently more games that were just as good as that in Sim. He is now in front for the Silver Slugger, which is going to be really fun and something to build on going into next season because he has 2 more years of team control. So that's fun to see. We really don't have anyone else to be excited about in awards or anything like that. There is some players that are playing well with a week to go, but that's different because Anthony Rendon's actually playing well with 100 at-bats, but that doesn't matter because he is not going to be on the team. I don't care if he was literally I don't care if he had a 2,000 OPS. Maybe I would care about that, but I might still not because he's Anthony Rendon and he's a thief. But Rengifo's heated up, and that's awesome to see. Noto's cooled down a little bit, but still, 836 OPS is very, very good. Joe Adell's still playing well, almost at 800 OPS. And O'Hoppe's getting better. Neto's getting better. That's good to see. So, yeah, those players that we wanted to see get better are getting better, and that's fun. And that makes next year so more crucial to get players in and prospects up so we can maybe make a run at a wild card or to this division. This division looks ripe for the taking next year if we can get the right players in the right spots through free agency, through calling up some prospects potentially. We can definitely make a run at this. It looks like 90 wins might get it done. Less than 90 wins this year, which is awesome. Definitely we could maybe make even the wild card, but we can even win the division. I'm not ruling that out. So we have a week left to play. Officially ended year 2, and we wanted to go into the standings before the postseason starts and really see what ended up happening. So the Rangers win our division with that Taylor Ward trade. Pretty insane. Obviously he's a rental, so it doesn't really matter. He could be on a new team next year. The Twins, Red Sox are the ones that actually make that run into the postseason, with the Astros and the Guardians falling short. By the way, the Guardians were the ones with that spot before. The Astros don't make the playoffs with the same record as the Twins. Pretty awesome. I'm happy because who wants the Astros in the playoffs? So you got the Braves missing the playoffs again at 87 wins. That's how good the NL is right now. The Phillies make it 94 wins, and the Mets win the East at 98. The Pirates win 96 games this year? Am I dreaming? What is going on? And they win the Central over the Brewers with Mike Trout, and the Brewers miss winning the Central by 1 game, and they're going to have to go through the wild card. And that's pretty insane. The Dodgers win 101 games, surprise, surprise, with Kyle Tucker on a 10-year deal. The Brewers, 95 wins, gets them the number 1 seed in the wild card. Phillies, 94. The Padres, 93. And like I said, 87 wins, you don't make the playoffs. That's pretty insane. you think you would be able to slip in with 87 wins. Not this season. In the season, we're going to look at the award winners, see who won. We got the AL MVP, Yordan Alvarez with 45 homers, 114 RBIs, and a 287 average. I really did think Aaron Judge might have a shot. He had 41 homers to begin September to win it back-to-back-to-back, but he didn't. He's not even on the ballot as of right now. Kyle Tucker keeps the NL MVP in LA, takes it away from Shohei, who's third in voting, it looks like. He has 45 homers, 132 RBIs, and a 311 average. What a beast. He's on their team for 10 years. Make it make sense. Spencer Strider literally steals the Cy Young Award from Logan Webb. Webb literally had the Cy Young stolen from his hands. He had a complete game shutout, pitched in September, has literally every better stat than strikeouts. That's the only thing he doesn't have. Strikeouts doesn't win you Cy Youngs, so I don't understand. That doesn't make sense. Tariq Skubal wins his second. Pretty interesting. The Detroit Tigers are just insane after getting Vladdy. They have a Cy Young winner, a batting title winner. I mean, Seiya Suzuki has 25 homers and wins a batting title. Pretty crazy season from him. Edwin Diaz and Emmanuel Clase win reliever of the year award. The rookie of the year seems bugged. You shouldn't be able to have a 536 OPS and win. I don't care. You should never be able to have that bad of a season and win rookie of the year. Same with Jackson Jobe. He had a 4 ERA. I don't think that's that good enough to win rookie of the year unless all the other rookies were that bad. Hank Aaron Award winners are very similar suspects. So we have a lot of the same players winning a lot of the awards, you know. But if there's anyone interesting that doesn't look like someone that usually wins them, I'll bring it up. Especially Gold Gloves. It's usually the same players win them. And like William Contreras just keeps winning the Silver Slugger 4 times in a row, as you can see. Same with Adley Rutschman, second time in a row winning his Silver Slugger. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's any. Luis Rengifo, for example, a new player winning the Silver Slugger in the AL for second base after Jose Altuve's won so many. That's awesome. He really locked in September. We player locked the game with him, and he had 2 homers in that game. He locked in and won that award. That's awesome to build on for next season. So stuff like that's interesting to see players win their first. But a lot of these players already have won one or have been, very close to winning one, so they're not like that crazy. Like Kerry Carpenter wins his first, but like we can suspect he could win one in IRL for sure. And as you can see, Juan Soto wins a ton. Going through the awards and the standings and seeing how year 2 ended, going through the postseason now, it's really interesting to see the different storylines play out with Taylor Ward in Texas winning a series, but then falling short to Baltimore's core, who went deep last year, and Detroit, who won the Cy Young with Tariq Skubal, had the Cy Young winner, and the batting title winner with Vladdy Guerrero Jr. coming to Detroit. It's kind of insane. They didn't even make the World Series. I thought they were for sure going to win the AL this year. They did not. Baltimore's core, who should be as good as they are on paper in this game, in real life, they're not. Their pitching staff's terrible. Their pitching stepped up in this game and has been good for the last 2 years. They've been playoff teams, making runs. They make the World Series this year over Detroit. Detroit made it last year. But LA dominated the NL, and they are back. Kyle Tucker gets a 10-year deal with them. I don't know how they have money to pay him, but then they also trade for Byron Buxton, and it just becomes a team in LA that you just think to yourself, how do you stop it? How do you do anything to stop this? They have everyone. Sasaki, Buxton's there, Hernandez, Teoscar, Lane Thomas is there. I mean, who don't they have? They really do actually have so much depth. It's insane. So they're back to form. They made the World Series again and win it. But Milwaukee had a Cinderella run last year and won it for the first time in their history. And we trade them Mike Trout, who had his best season in forever. 1,100 OPS in about 300 at-bats. And that wasn't enough to even make the CS because LA was that good. So that's insane to say the least. And a lot of the usual suspects in the NL, except for Pittsburgh, who I can't wait to get into, because when you look at Pittsburgh, you say, why not the Angels? Because all they did is add from their great core of pitching that they drafted, right? And they go out and they add a Jordan Romano, who, why not? We can add a guy in that. We have tons of money. They go out and trade for C.J. Abrams somehow. He's on their team now. And they somehow go out and get Gleyber Torres. They go and pay him. And now they're in the playoffs. And they're not just in the playoffs, guys. They won the Central. Now, the Central was weak this year. But Mike Trout went crazy. And the defending champions were in the Central. And they somehow won the division. So there's no question next year, if we call up the right prospects that we let sit this year and then make some really good free agency moves, we could make the playoffs next year or even win the division. There's no question about that. So I'm super excited to get into the offseason and see what we can get done. And hopefully that will lead to more playoff appearances, because this roster is interesting, but we need to add to it for sure. Alright guys, I'm not going to lie, I have not been this excited for an offseason in one of my rebuilds in a very long time. I've done a lot of rebuilds on MLB The Show, but a lot of them are with cheap franchises where it doesn't really make sense to spend money. But the Angels really do spend money, they just don't spend money in the right places. So now with Rendon not thieving our organization and just stealing $35 million plus a year to do nothing. He literally played in AAA for most of this year, and he's in his 30s, as well as Mike Trout, who might be playing awesome right now. He's going to start regressing. He's like 34 years old. His best days are behind him. He can help a team contending right now, and we got the money off the books, and we still got prospects back because we weren't going to get much for him. There's not many teams that could even take his contract on, but we got him off the books. Rendon's contract is finished. And now we can spend, if you look who's on the board right now with Jesus Luzardo, who's only looking for $20 million a year just about for 4 years, and Sandoval, who's looking for $15 a year, that's only $35 a year. That right there is one of their contracts. Those two players are definitely going to bring more value than a 36-year-old Anthony Rendon. And we're going to add Pete Alonso to it too, who only wants a 2-year deal for a little under $19 million, 18.7 to be exact. That is insane value. If we can bring all these players in and maybe one more bench bat or something like that, call up some prospects, there is no doubt we can win our weak division next year or at least make a wild card run. This is insane. I'm super hyped. Alright, so after simming a week, you can see that Pete Alonso really doesn't want to come here. He has a lot of teams that were contenders last year, the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks, who could be contenders soon, all wanting his services. So we'll see. But Patrick Sandoval would be so interesting. A lefty coming back, 2 lefties with Jesus Luzardo, if he can come too. I mean, if we can get Patrick Sandoval to pitch like 2022 Patrick Sandoval, then we're going to be in such good shape, and we could really do something next year. If we can get him to join us, as well as Jesus Luzardo and Pete Alonso. I have a backup plan if Pete Alonso really doesn't want to come, which is Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks last year. So we're going to see. He's a free agent if Pete doesn't want to come to LA. I don't blame them. They're thinking we're trying to rebuild. Brady Singer goes to the Rockies. They're thinking we're trying to rebuild. Okay, now or never. We're going to try to give him $20 million a year. He's probably not going to want to come here. Give him even 21. We have the money to spend. Remind you this, So we're going to have to see what happens. He's probably not going to join us. There's just teams that, Pete Alonso can go join that could win a World Series right now. And that's ridiculous. I genuinely don't even know how this is possible. What is going on? The Dodgers have literally everyone. Byron Buxton is a Dodger. They have Lane Thomas, he is a Dodger. Kyle Tucker is a Dodger. And now Pete Alonso is also a Dodger after Shohei Ohtani joined in 2024. What is going on, dude? How do they have all this money? It makes no sense. Kyle Tucker has a 10-year deal for like $400 million. What is going on? after the whole fiasco of Pete Alonso getting picked off from us to go to the Dodgers, stay in LA, but go to the Dodgers because we're just playing second fiddle to them right now with all the players they have. They could also go get Eugenio Suarez. How is this possible? How could they literally have everyone? This is ridiculous. They literally have the Avengers of baseball. What are we going to do? But on a good note, on some good news, Jesus Luzardo has a 60% chance of wanting to sign with us. I'm super excited about that. I think if we give him, $20 million, that's a good number. Hopefully he wants to come and join us. And Patrick Sandoval is pretty close to wanting to join us as well. So hopefully we can get some good free agents in here for year 3. I'm so hyped for this. But also, screw the Dodgers. They are cheating for sure. There's no doubt. Rob Manfred has to do something. This cannot go on. And we have a decision on if Jesus Luzardo is going to join the Angels. And it looks like he is. That's a contract. Jesus Luzardo, welcome to the team. Freddie Peralta to the Royals in the AL. So that's interesting. Garrett Crochet goes to the Tigers after Tariq Skubal goes to the Red Sox. I forgot to mention that. That was also a factor in this free agency so far. That's crazy. They basically just swap teams. We now have had Jesus Luzardo and Patrick Sandoval both sign with us. Welcome back to LA, Patrick, after going off to Boston for a couple of years. If we can get him back to 2022 form, where he had a sub-3 ERA and almost 150 innings, we could really change this franchise this year with, Jose Soriano pitching well. Reed Detmers didn't pitch great. If he can get a little better. Chase Silseth pitched well. So, and we have prospects to call up. This is going to be very interesting because we still have signings to make. These guys together are only making Rendon's yearly salary. Together. I'm so hyped for this year 3, guys. After bolstering our pitching staff, you can see in the top left that we still have tons of budget, and that's because, like I said, 2 players were commanding about $65 million in salary a year, which I love Mike Trout, and he's playing lights out. He's 34, though, and regressing. For a team that's rebuilding, it made complete sense to not only trade him for basically nothing. We still got Paul Weaver, who is a top 25 prospect, but that's really all we got. But because we got the contract off, we can now make all these moves. With all that money freed up, we got 2 pitchers and still have all this money to maybe get Dalton Varsho, who is a great defender and will play center field for us and might not be a great bat, but will be a good defender. That's not a bad pickup. And to see what happens, who cares? It's a 2-year deal for only $15 million. Then Brian Abreu only wants $9 million a year. He will be lights out in the bullpen, no doubt. And then Eugenio Suarez only wants a 1-year deal. How does that hurt us at all? We have the money. So what you think? I moved off Varsho because defense is important, but bats are way more important. And James Outman's bat threw 66 at-bats last year is promising, and really his defense is pretty damn good as well. So for me, younger, better bat, really interesting. At least it's a small sample size, but interesting to say the least. I mean, we got to at least give him a chance, I think, for the price. We can easily get him. We can go get Dennis Santana, who's only 30, and give him a 2-year deal out of the bullpen, see what happens there. And we're going cheap on these players because they're not asking for a lot. And we will still have so much money to spend if we want to. So you have to let me know in the comments. Are we going cheap or are we just being smart? But we're going to see what we can get for the rest of this offseason going into year 3. I'm not going to lie. This is legit the craziest screen to look at. LA might have the craziest roster I've ever seen constructed by a CPU in any franchise mode I've ever played. I'm not joking. They have almost every player. I don't know if some players are actually need new deals, like maybe Buxton needed. We'll see. after everything's over in free agency, we're going to go check out their roster and just see how ridiculous it is that they're able to get all these players. They just won the World Series, by the way. As you can see, we have made a lot of moves going into this year 3. There is so many holes on this roster, and the way we decided to fill them out is deciding to pay players with 2-year or 1-year deals, basically rentals. The 2-year deals are basically rentals where we can play them for a year, see how they play. Then in year 2, we can see what we want to do. We can always pay them again and extend them or let them walk. Eric Fetty has 1 more year on his deal. We also did that with Gregory Soto. He was on a 2-year deal in last year's free agency. It was him and Eric Fetty were the only players we really did that with. Well, now we did that with a ton of players, with James Outman getting a 3-year, $5 million deal just about. Dane Meyer getting a $4 million deal. And as a utility player, this is honestly an insane, for the stats that he has, that's an insane value. I mean, this new regime is not paying players long, and they're not paying them over 30. If they're over 30, they're not going to get a 5-year plus deal. It's just not going to happen unless they're homegrown from our drafts. Then we'll see. But for we're going to lock them up when they're way younger. We're not going to wait until they're hitting free agency and getting Anthony Rendon for 7 years, and then he just ruins your team and you're paying him $35 million a year. That's not going to happen here. We're paying these 2 players in Patrick Sandoval and Jesus Luzardo alone to be 2 arms in our rotation, $35 a year. And then Outman, Myers, and players like Andy Ibanez, who we got for basically $4.5 million a year. All those players are $12 million annually. All 3 of those players, that's all they are. That is nothing. So what we're doing here for the next 2 years is just seeing what we got out of free agency and in our farm system, with Giancarlo Portillo 100% getting the call-up this year at 22. He'll get a call-up. And also, Derek Murphy might get a call-up in this rotation sometime this year. And that could really be the difference maker in if Rengifo stays a Silver Slugger winner and the best second baseman in the AL gets another All-Star. Zach Neto returns to form maybe. So does Logan O'Hoppe. This team could easily win a division. Maybe win the wild, if not that, the wild card. Why not? I don't see why not. This is really interesting going into year 3, how this is going to fare out. We're now in spring trading, and I'm super excited to see what these players can do that we just signed. You guys really enjoyed this episode where we got the end of year 2 done, as well as get into the offseason and really see what this team is shaping up to be in year 3. And next episode, we're going to start year 3. Tons of storylines to start in that one. Opening day, and it's going to be the most promising episode so far, because finally we have a team that could maybe do something. And I'll go into why right now to end this episode, because we've changed our philosophy in how this management is going to go about spending money. We're not going to throw a ton of money and a ton of years at aging players. No, sir. What we're going to do is we're going to grab guys like Dayron Blanco, who played for the Mets last year in a pretty decent role in a playoff team, 757 OPS. Okay, that's not like anything crazy, but that's definitely pretty damn good, solid. We only had to pay him $4.5 million for 2 seasons, this year and next. That's it. If he doesn't work out, he's gone. We don't have to extend him. It's fine. Same thing with Dane Myers. $4.1 million for 2 years. He played okay. Not really. He played below average with Miami. The stats are there. He's a good utility player. No doubt we could get value out of this. And even if we don't, we paid no money and only gave him 2 years. These are literally risk-free deals. Connor Joe, another player that's been traded around from Pittsburgh out to Atlanta, and he's just been playing actually really well. 784 OPS. Really, really solid. Well, guess what? We got him for $5 million a year for 2 years. None of these contracts matter. We're just waiting. We're biding our time with these players. They're filling holes in the roster and on the bench for us. Jake Rogers now becomes our backup catcher. Like, stuff like this is perfect because he's getting no money at all. $6 million a year for 2 years. all this, we can revisit these contracts in a year or two, extend them if they play well, and if they don't play well, you let them go, and we call up our teenage prospects that are right now developing, need a year or two to really become polished, to become major leaguers. This is the bridge in the gap, and it isn't risky. We're paying no money at all. We still have so much money in our budget that if we wanted to go trade for a big player on a big contract, we can do that as well. We have everything open to our disposal going into year 3. With that being the end of this episode, we got the end of year 2 done, and we got the offseason done. To begin next episode, we'll start at opening day, and I'll get into all the moves I made for this roster. I got into it a little bit at the end of this video, talking about the strategy, but we'll go into every hole we filled on the roster when we go into the opening day lineup next year. It's going to be really fun. I hope you guys are super excited for year 3 and next episode. If you are, leave a like, leave a subscription. I'm hoping to get to 10 subscribers ASAP. That would be so nice. And I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving me on the videos. I really am enjoying making these videos for you guys and doing different rebuilds. If you have any suggestions, always leave them in the comments. I'm always open to new suggestions and new video suggestions as well. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See ya.